Autopsy. That's how forensic pathologist Doctor Raquel Fortun described what authorities did to the remains of 17-year-old Kian Delos Santos, one of the drug war victims in 2016.
A standard autopsy, whether forensic or not, is a really extensive examination of everything inside and outside. And that means first making an incision on the chest and abdomen, and the classic style is a Y-shaped incision, because you really have to open the cavities and take out the organs. And then you do a head examination and take out the brain as well. And then a neck, especially for neck examination for forensic autopsy.
In Kian's case, however, Fortun points out, the PNP Crime Lab and Public Attorney's Office failed to follow proper procedure.
Apparently, PNP, which was the first one to do the examination, simply focused on the head, and they identified the 4 bullet holes there. But then for the chest and abdomen, they just cut the skin. And then here comes Pau doing an autopsy in the residence. What can you do in the house of the individual? You can't do much. So they simply did an external examination. They did not even recheck actually the head. They never opened the chest and abdomen because they could not.
According to PNP, Kian sustained 2 gunshot wounds in his head, but wasn't successful in collecting urine and blood sample because the body had already been embalmed. In Pau's re-autopsy, an additional gunshot wound was discovered. But when it was Fortun's turn to examine Kian's body, she was still able to extract a bullet 5 years later. It was caught on video how Kian was dragged by the police during a drug raid, debunking their defense that Kian fought back. His death sparked protests against the bloody drug war. And it isn't just in Kian's case. In the 74 remains that she examined, at least 11 death certificates were falsified. They made it appear that they died of natural causes, but in reality, they were gunned down.
It's a big mess. You have individuals not really qualified to do the things that they do. You've heard one argument against ICC coming, oh, you're intruding. We're going to undergo training soon. You know, that's crazy.
This training that Fortun is referring to is the capacity building that the Justice Department is organizing with the UN Special Rapporteur on Extrajudicial Killings, Dr. Maurice Tidball-Beans.
We will be ready for emergencies. We will be ready for wrongful death situations in terms of autopsy and for forensic pathology. We are starting to build up a core of medical specialists who can work on wrongful death situations and, of course, who can work on disaster identification if there are victims.
But for Fortun, it's quite clear that the irregularities exposed by her examination in the remains of drug war victims contradict those who are claiming that the country's judicial system is working. We reached out to PNP and PAO for their reaction, but they have yet to respond. Anjo Alimario, CNN Philippines.